Hey guys, so today we're checking out the Flowmaster Outlaw Axleback exhaust system with the black tips, fitting all 2018 and newer JL Wranglers with the 3.6 liter V6 motor. Now this is going to be great for the JL owners looking to completely switch up the sound and the look of their JL's exhaust system. This will open up that exhaust, increasing a little bit of performance and MPG since you're relieving some of that restriction, and of course you are going to get a lot of sound out of this exhaust system. Now what I will say is that you are going to get a deeper exhaust note without all of the crazy volume, which is going to be perfect for the daily driver or somebody who wants to hear their exhaust but doesn't want to go over the top. Now I'm going to rate this a 4 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being completely stock and 5 being incredibly loud. Now when it comes to the exhaust system mounted on a Jeep, this isn't going to be the loudest exhaust system, but when it comes to comparing it to others in the category, this is definitely going to be up there in volume, especially when you get on it. So if you're a fan of hearing your exhaust system whenever you're driving your Jeep around, this is going to be a great choice. Now, this is also going to just change the note of the exhaust system, creating a deeper and more throaty noise out of the 3.6 while keeping the interior noise pretty minimal, especially when it comes to drones. So if you're doing a whole lot of driving, this is going to keep that drone to a minimum and make it very comfortable inside of your Wrangler. Now I would like to call out the fact that this will hang a little bit lower than some other exhaust systems. So if you go off-road a lot, if you're doing a lot of articulation, if you're concerned about your departure angles, this is going to hang a little bit lower, so I would just keep that in mind. But if you're not necessarily concerned about that, if you really like the look of this and you're also really looking to open up that exhaust with a straight through style exhaust system, something that's going to be a little bit louder than most, then this is going to be right up your alley. And I especially like the fact that this gives you a very sleek look with that powder coat, which I'll get to in just a second. Now diving a little bit deeper into the construction of this exhaust system is going to have a straight through style muffler. As you can tell, it is very small in comparison to your factory one, which is big, it's baffled, and that's really where you're going to get that quietness of your factory exhaust system. With this, it is going to be baffled to make sure that you're not getting a lot of drone, but it is not going to hold back when it comes to sound. Now this is also going to be made of mainly a 409 stainless steel build. You are going to have 2.5-inch mandrel bent tubing, which is very common on the exhaust system, not only on the factory one, but on aftermarket options. And this is also going to have a nice black powder coat finish on top. Now the 409 stainless steel is going to hold up very well to the elements, especially with this black powder coat on top. That is going to hold up for a very long time, especially if you take care of it. But it is going to save you a couple bucks in comparison to 304. Now these will have 304 stainless steel tips, so those are going to last an incredibly long time and resist any rusting or corrosion on the stainless steel, and also have that nice powder coat on top to protect the stainless steel underneath as well. So really overall you're getting a good system here, and you're not breaking the bank, especially because this has a 409 build. Not to mention, this is going to come with the hangers pre-installed, and you also are going to get a clamp here and the little clips for the hangers to make sure that they stay on the isolators. So overall, this is going to be a pretty solid build in my opinion. Now when it comes to price, this is going to sit at roughly $600, making this a middle of the road choice. And like I said, you're not necessarily going to break the bank because this is a 409. It's still great quality in comparison to something that is more or less an aluminized steel or steel like the factory one. So this is going to hold up. It has a really good look to it, and it is going to give you that very large tip on the end here for that style. Now other options available in the category may just be a little bit different. You may see choices that are going to be for high clearance exhaust that will be more towards the off-roader instead of somebody who's looking for style. You are going to see options for a single outlet that may switch it up. And you may see choices that are going to be a little bit more expensive that may not have the welded tips. They may have an option to pop the tip off and put it back on and kind of switch it up, or they may have that full 304 stainless build. Overall, I think if you're not looking to completely break the bank, you're looking for something that's stealthy, going to give you a lot of noise, and is going to look good while doing it, then this is going to be a great choice. Now when it comes to install, I'm going to give this a pretty easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. Like I said, it comes with everything that you need. It'll probably take you about an hour to get the job done with some pretty basic hand tools. So one of our installers is going to walk you step by step through that process on how to get this onto your Jeep. So that's going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and hop into the install.
Tools used for this installation: pry bar, 13 and 15 millimeter sockets, 3/8 electric impact gun. We're going to watch a short uninstalled video of how to remove the exhaust on our Jeep here, then we'll jump right back into the install.
So removing a JL muffler, this is going to be pretty simple. It's held on with 2 rubber hanger isolators, one on either side of the muffler, and there's another one over there by the tailpipe, so 2 in total, and then a 15 millimeter clamp up here on the over axle pipe, which we're going to loosen up second. First thing we're going to do is pop the hangers out of their isolator. Here's how I like to do it. If you just grab a pry bar and get that situated underneath the Jeep, go ahead and push to the side here. That's going to pop off just like so. Same thing goes on the other side. Now, one thing I always like to note, now that we have the muffler hanging down a little bit, if you do struggle with this and you need to remove these, it's held on with a couple 13 millimeter bolts. There's one here and one up at the top facing the other way. You could always loosen those up with the 13 millimeter socket and a U-joint, and this thing will come down as one. Then you could transfer those over to the new muffler. And this is the clamp that's holding on our muffler now. 15 millimeter socket to loosen that up.
Now that we're done watching our uninstall video, we're going to get right into our install here. We're going to start by sliding our clamp over top of our pipe and putting it on our mid pipe here and pushing it on. You might have to push it a little bit because it does have some rust on that pipe. Once you get that installed, we want to just put our hangers in place here, our rubber grommets to hold this on. Now that we have those both in place, we'll end up tightening our clamp up with our 15 millimeter and we'll have this exhaust wrapped up. Now we'll take our 15 millimeter on my impact gun. I'm going to tighten my clamp up. We have our brackets in, or our mounts in here, and that's all it is to put this exhaust on. That wraps up this review and install of our Flowmaster Outlaw Axleback exhaust with black tips for 18 and newer 3.6 liter Jeep Wrangler JLs. Thanks for watching, and for all things Jeep, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.